Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. We have our very special edition of the show. Each and every weekend on Saturdays and Sundays, I publish the Cabral HouseCalls. This is where I'm answering your questions each and every weekend for now almost 4 years. 2016, 17, 18, 19, yes, almost 4 years. So I've seen so many questions over the years, even on top of our private practice. And honestly, nothing really surprises me anymore. And the nice thing is what I try to do is simply answer this, just reading your question for the very first time, as if you met me at a conference, you asked me the question. It's just right. This is the raw answer I'm going to give you. It's a place to get started. And what I believe and what I like to share with people, it's another outlook. It's another way of looking at a problem that you may not have thought about before. But once you do, you start to move in that direction that can lead you to the ultimate success you are looking for. So I love the Cabral HouseCalls, love being able to answer your questions. I love being able to reach out and chat with people in our community, even if it is over this podcast. But, you know, we have so much going on in this following year that I'm going to be able to meet a lot of you as well. We have our March event in Australia for IHP. In May, we will have our Boston event for IHP. People who are interested in learning about health, who want to come to the conference, who are integrative health practitioners, we invite you. So it's been a natural growth-based product, really in private practice, seeing 20,000 appointments a year with myself and my team that I oversee, and moving virtual and seeing that, but now online and overseeing all the labs, and now kind of like swinging back the other way. Like I'm here in my own little cave here in Boston working virtually, but now let me get out after 3 years now of virtual-based practice. And now let me get back. Let me start to meet with people in person, not just read their questions and answer them, not just read all these hundreds of labs every single week. So anyway, I'm excited. I'm always looking to, I'm grateful in the present, but I'm always anticipating and looking forward to an even more exciting future. And I hope you are as well. We're going to do some really great things this coming year, and I can't wait to support you in your journey along the way as well. So let's dive into our questions. The first question is coming in from October 22nd. We are now in the first week of December. So it looks like we're about 5 weeks, 6 weeks behind, right around there, which we typically are. So just letting you know, if you're right into the Ask Cabral, it just takes about 6 weeks or so. We've been all the way up to 12 weeks at one point. We cut it down to 4, and we typically hover around. It takes about 6 weeks or so for your question to be answered. So this one's from Nicolle with 2 L's, and it says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thanks so much for all you do. You truly have changed my life. I'm looking to have a bit of a mystery solved. I've spent April of this year healing my body, first with the 3-week detox, followed by the CBO gut protocol, as I tested positive for candida on your lab test. During the last week of the CBO, I found out I was pregnant. Wonderful news, but very surprising. I've been off contraception for 2 years, managing my cycle naturally through tracking very successfully. I have a relatively normal cycle, give or take a day or two. Now the mystery, my conception date happened on the last day of my period. Normally the safe zone, I would have thought. I know the CBO can throw out your cycle, but can it throw it out that much? Clearly, all of my healing turned me into a fertility machine, which I feel very grateful for, but would love to know how. Thanks again for all you do, Nicolle." So, very interesting. Let me see if I can unpack this because I want to be able to answer your question to the best of my ability. So, the last day of your cycle, you absolutely can still get pregnant or be tested for, as pregnant. Meaning so here's the thing. You may have had intercourse 3 days, 4 days before that, and you could get pregnant, meaning it shows up on a lab test or a pregnancy test a few days later, and sometimes not even up to 10 days, right? So hard to know when conception took place. That's not abnormal. Like, that's possible. So I wouldn't say, yes, it's more likely during, let's say, ovulation, let's say, well, I mean, even for a lot of women, I mean, conception can most easily take place days 14 through 21, days 17 through 19. You'll find your own window for each woman. But the confusing part to me then would be you got pregnant while you actually were on your menstrual cycle, while you actually had your period, because that would then be more unusual. So if you actually got pregnant while you were menstruating, that would be much more of a mystery. So I don't know if you just asked that, if that was the case. If you got pregnant while actually menstruating, that would be a tough one for me to answer. Probably better for your gynecologist, obstetrician, rather than me. I can explain the first part, because just because a sperm fertilized an egg doesn't mean that it's necessarily, or it could actually take 2-3 days for that sperm to fertilize the egg. And then also a week later, 10 days later, for you to find out that you are pregnant. So there's play there, but getting pregnant while you have your menstrual cycle is quite rare. Okay, Emma's up next. Hey there, Dr. Cabral. First of all, let me just say that I'm let me go back. Sorry, I just want to say congratulations to Nicolle. We work with so many women who are experiencing fertility issues that are not able to get pregnant. And we work with them on rebalance the body, work on balancing estrogen dominance, work on balancing high levels of cortisol, work on balancing low thyroid. And lo and behold, again, I don't know if you could say infertility would be considered a disease in the FDA's eyes. So we're not going to say we're curing disease or treating disease or even diagnosing any disease. But what we do is we love hearing these types of success stories. So Nicolle, thank you for writing in. Thank you for letting us know. Amazing. All right, Emma's up next. Hey there, Dr. Cabral. First of all, let me say I'm extremely grateful for your podcast and everything you do. The gift of health knowledge that you have given to all of us is priceless for not only ourselves, but our children and loved ones. A few questions. What do you think of the product Advanced TRS, Toxin Removal System, and zeolites in general? All right, I will just direct you back, just because I did 2 podcasts on zeolites, so you can check that out. Zeolites are not a detox system, okay? Zeolites are great. We have them in one of our heavy metal detox-based products. But here's the thing. Zeolites are not a liver pathway enhancer. They are not. Zeolites can be great, and I recommend them if you'd like to use them. You don't need them, but they can be great. But they're not a detox system. They're just not. A lot of other detox systems out there, but they're not a detox system, but great. It's like saying, do you like cracked cell chlorella? Of course I do. It can be great. What about cilantro? Yes, that's great too. And so are zeolites. So Emma, just type in ZEOLITES at StephenCabral.com/podcasts. And I'm going to actually help you with this, because I hate not answering people's questions, but I don't want to get so backlogged in questions when many of these have already been answered. So before you write in to Ask Cabral, just head on over to StephenCabral.com/podcasts, type in your keyword like zeolites. You'll see that I answered it on episode 1129 and specifically on episode 1143. All right, back to Emma's second part to her question. My kids love your new whole food bars. Thank you so much for not putting stevia in them. I react severely to stevia, which makes many health products unavailable to me. Would you consider making more stevia-free products, such as the Daily Shake? I would also love to see some stevia-free electrolyte powder. Thank you for everything you do, Emma. Emma, thank you for writing in. We appreciate you. So, okay, let's talk about this. The whole food bars, we're happy to have made those for you. Keep it in mind, they are high in fiber, they're higher in protein, they're high in good fat, and they have carbs. Now, there is a good amount of carbs in there, and we use specific types of these are all natural, plant-based, vegan, paleo, school-safe, nut-free bars. They're amazing. That's what I wanted. I said, I want bars that my kids can bring to their nut-free school, their allergen-friendly school, and I can enjoy myself, and that I just know people will like eating. So the thing is, though, the daily nutritional support is different. And you have to understand is that if you give someone a straight protein powder and you put vitamins in it, it's going to be bitter. So that's just the way that it is. It's just bitter. You can't make an all-in-one like we have without either using sugar, such as like the organic maple syrup or the organic dates that we put in the bars, or you have to then use a sugar alcohol like erythritol that we refuse to do because of all the people we work with gut issues. Or you need to put in an artificial sweetener like sucralose, Splenda, aspartame, which of course we refuse to do. So you're left with only a few things. Monk fruit being one, Lohan, I believe Huan is how you pronounce that, and then stevia. And stevia can actually have the most beneficial health-based properties being studied for Lyme disease, no glycemic spike, no fermentation in the gut, and you add sweetness to offset that bitter and has 0 calories. So, Emma, I totally get it. Nothing we do will ever work for every person on earth, so I totally get that. I understand that, and that's why in 2020 we're coming out with a hemp protein powder, all organic, single ingredient, single source, and then you could take that along with our daily activated multivitamin. Not the same as the daily nutritional support, but still pretty great. So, Emma, we're always looking out even for our 0.1% of people that are not able to do some of the things. So I get it. I totally understand, and I appreciate your feedback. Thank you. Joanne is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I have a question regarding breast health. This year so far, I've done a 21-day detox, the CBO gut protocol. Then after I went and did a 9-day panchakarma detox. Since then, my hormones went a little out of balance, and I lost my period for 1 month, and it's since always a bit late starting to regulate. However, my question is, these changes my body is going through with these protocols has shifted my hormones. I did test for high testosterone, high estrogen, and low progesterone earlier in the year, but my recent breast ultrasound showed fibroadenomas and cysts. What is your advice for breast health and how to prevent breast cancer? What causes fibros when rebounding? Is it best to wear a bra or not? Thank you so much. Regards, Joanna. Okay, so many questions all rolled into one. Let's see if we can go through that. So I would love for you to type in breast cysts. So let's type in breast to stevencabral.com/podcast. We get 61 search results. Okay, too much. I get it. Let's type in breast cyst. Let's see what we find, because I know I just answered this. All right, 18 search results. So just a week or so ago, I answered one on hormone balancing and high estrogenic foods. I answered one on fibrocystic breasts. I want you to check that out, episode 1381. Okay, Joanna, so check out episode 1381 because I give detox protocols. I give proteolytic enzymes to use. But I want to answer, and then let's answer the question about bras. BRA, for those of you who cannot understand my New England accent. The underwire in the bra is the most contentious. Why? Okay, a couple reasons. One, it could actually pick up EMFs when you wear metal on your body. That means if you are around within 3 feet of something emitting EMFs, you very well could be picking those up with the underwire of your bra. A sports bra that contains no underwire, most likely not as much of an issue. Now, there are some studies, not very good ones yet, but some studies that actually show that wearing a bra in the long term may not be as good for lymphatic flow either because of that tight pressing on your skin right around the armpit area where you have major lymph nodes in your armpits, okay? So that's one thing to look at. Wear a bra, not wear a bra, your personal choice, but you could also go like in between if you wanted to. You could wear a more of like a tank top or more of like a sports bra, not as tight fitting, no underwire. You could wear a bra with no underwire. There are many alternatives now that women have. And, you know, as a woman, it's your personal choice. No one should tell you to wear a bra or not wear a bra. That's your choice. It's your body. So you get to choose. Don't let anybody choose for you. Okay, now let's go over your last question, which is, yes, hormones being sometimes thrown a little bit out of balance when doing big detox protocols. Panchakarma would be one, a 21-day detox, maybe. No, I mean, not for every woman, but maybe. And here's why. So when you make a major shift in life, sleep, stress, exercise, or food, and that includes the detox, your hormones may readjust based on that because they see that shift as a stress in your life. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not a good stress, right? But it's a hermetic stressor on your body. So that's what we have to look at. Now, that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Your hormones just show you, oh, there's been a change in my body. Doesn't mean bad. Doesn't necessarily mean good. It just means, yes, there's a change. My hormones are reacting because of the more of a catabolic situation I put it in. And remember, detoxes are catabolic. I just talked about that on last Wednesday's show. So hopefully you tuned into last Wednesday's show. But typically your hormones bounce right back into balance, meaning like if estrogen lowered, if progesterone lowered, you may not get your cycle. But they should go right back into balance within the next cycle or two. So, Joanna, that's a great question. That comes up every once in a while, so I'm happy to answer that on the show. Thank you. Kelly's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you for all the knowledge you provide. I see that there is only 4 grams of L-glutamine in the Healthy Gut Support. Can I ask you why you decided on 4 grams when the majority of studies that concluded a positive result from supplementation were using above 25 grams on average? Yeah, happy to answer this question as well. Multiple reasons why. So we are using this for a longer term. So Kelly, this is a really great question. So I want to answer this. 25 grams of glutamine a day would be a megadose, okay? Now, you run the risk by taking that much in that whatever isn't used could be converted to a more negative form of that substance. I've seen it with kids with autism. I've seen it with people with poor methylation pathways. So I follow, as much as anyone, all doctors are supposed to take this oath, but I live by it. And that is, first, do no harm. And I promise you, my intention is to never do anyone harm. On the podcast, I'm very careful about telling you, I'm not trying to treat your disease. I'm not trying to diagnose you with anything. I'm not trying to cure anything. I work on underlying root causes. So when you see my Healthy Gut Support, and you know that we use that as part of our CBO finisher, we do it for 3 months. So you might do 25 grams for a few weeks or a month, which is, again, I don't have a problem with that if that works for you. The most I've ever gone with myself is 20 grams a day, and I use that for about 3 to 4 weeks. That's the most, and I haven't done that for a long time. I actually did that for different reasons, actually, than repairing my gut. I did that for more bodybuilding reasons because it's actually great as a cell volumizer, and it helps with stress and hard training. But anyway, let me not get too far off topic. So we use glutamine over a period of 12 weeks. And we also understand that glutamine is fantastic, but we're using that in a synergistic fashion, not a single supplement cure. We're using that in a synergistic fashion with zinc carnosine. We're using that with aloe. We are using that also with DGL, which is super powerful. DGL is deglycerized licorice root, which does not give you any of that like energy boosting. And for people with high blood pressure, they don't need to worry about the DGL. And then there's also the N-acetyl D-glucosamine, which is also great for the gut. So I'm a big believer in synergies. In Ayurveda, you never give one herb. You're giving a basically plan to someone. So hopefully this helps. That's why we do it. This is how we use it. 4 to 5 grams a day I'm good with. That's what I typically do. And then for my people with the most amount of intestinal permeability, they do that twice a day. So really what we're looking at is 5 to 10 grams per day maximum. That's what I do in my practice. I've used it for many years. So I use research, but I also use clinical practice, and I want to make sure that I also avoid any type of bad reactions as well. Okay? So thank you for writing in. Really great question, and happy to answer that as always. So let's see if we can get one more question in from Lauren. Hi, I recently found out I'm sensitive to salicylates, and I know I have many other autoimmune conditions. How do you heal yourself with healthy nutritional foods, plant-based supplements, and herbs if you can't tolerate them? My IgE is 780 and high eosinophils. I was having your shake every day, but I don't know if I can have this. I'm trying to treat via therapy. I won't put in the swears, and I'm allergic to a lot of healthy food. Let me just kind of clean up the language in there. Keep this a family show. There are never been any explicit lyrics on the Cabral concept, so you can listen to this with your kids. Of course, it's adult content, and it has to be appropriate for your child. But again, we keep this clean. So I can help with this. I'm happy to help with this. I did a whole show on salicylates. So if we go to stevencabral.com/podcasts, let's type in salicylates. And let's see what show that is. And then let's get your answer on why you're not able to do a lot of plant-based foods right now. Okay, right here, episode 1152. So, Lauren, head on over to episode 1152. And it says, are salicylates a deadly plant toxin? All right, check out that show. Now, why can't you heal with herbs? All right, well, this is not uncommon. Now, again, it's very rare for most people to see, but I have a very uncommon practice with a lot of very uncommon people because I was a very uncommon patient myself back in the day, right? So everything affected me. I couldn't do what most people typically do. I couldn't take most herbs. And that's because what happened first is that I had a lot of gut permeability. So everything would seep through my gut wall, proteins and bacteria and candida, and it would alarm my immune system. Well, over time, that's called chronic inflammation, chronically high eosinophils, which show high food sensitivities or environmental sensitivities. So I was allergic to grass, I was allergic to mold, I was allergic to dust. All of those things were filling up my rain barrel. So, Lauren, if you haven't read the rain barrel effect, start there. It answers your question. But then also, how do you empty your rain barrel? Well, first, we need to fix the gut. Okay, so if you haven't run gut-based tests yet, do that. I mean, really, that's the way to know. Do you have candida overgrowth? Do you have bacterial overgrowth? Do you have H. pylori? Do you have parasites? You can run the candida metabolism and vitamins test. You can also run the parasites and bacteria stool test. So, because you already run the food sensitivity, great, you have that. Then, if you're high on those, we'll do something like the CBO gut protocol, and we'll start to then seal your gut, just like we were talking about with our friend Kelly right before you with our CBO finisher. Then hopefully that will start to lower your immune aggravation. Once immune aggravation is lowered, this is over a course of months, then you'll be able to introduce new fruits, vegetables, herbs, etc. So that's how it's done. You literally empty your rain barrel. It's the secret that most people don't know. It is the secret that I found when I went overseas, that what TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, what bioregulatory, what Ayurveda, what a lot of these do, all these practices besides conventional medicine, is they remove, and then replenish. But everybody in our world, in our Western society, is like, add more, add more, add more. That's why it's funny, because intermittent fasting is catching on, but of course we're taking it too far. But like, that is one of the things that's helping people. Yes, why? Because it's a removal process. It's a removal process. Now, we're doing it incorrectly, but people are on the right track at least. Now they just need to say, okay, let's not just do it with food. Like, what else can we start to remove? Like, can we do a functional medicine detox seasonally like everyone's done before the 1800s or so? Like, can we get back to that? Well, hopefully we can. So thank you so much for tuning into today's show. A little bit of rants here, a little bit there, but I appreciate you tuning in as always. We'll be answering more of our community's questions tomorrow. So tune back in. Can't wait to talk with you then. Thank you so much for just tuning into the show, and I wanted to thank all of you for your support last week, and I hope that you had an amazing Thanksgiving if you are here in the U.S. celebrating that holiday, and for everyone else who really took part in our Black Friday semi-annual sale. Well, this week we are flowing right through Cyber Monday, and we'll be ending this weekend, but this is our semi-annual sale. We only do 2 sales a year. That's it. Used to only be 1 at the holiday. Again, we've only had our virtual-based company basically taking our functional medicine practice here in Boston, Massachusetts, and bringing that online for the world so that you get the same lab tests that we do in my private practice. You could use the same wellness protocols, the same nutritional supplements, get the same exact advice. It's something that we've been trying to do now for a little over 3 years. And again, really basing that upon all of the hundreds of thousands of appointments that we've been fortunate enough to do. So what we want to do is during this holiday season, extend our best prices to you. We really do give you our everyday lowest price every single day of the year, 365 days of the year. But now what we are trying to do is 2 semi-annual sales a year. So it'll be this one, and then not for about 6 months or 7 months will we do our next sale in the summer. So take advantage. It's up to 25% off, up to 25% store-wide. So every single product up to 25% off. And that's at equilibriumnutrition.com. Hope that you're enjoying the start to the holiday season and hopefully able to pick up something healthy for yourself and maybe for some of your loved ones. Take care. Head on over to equilibriumnutrition.com to see what we have in store. Take care.